Welcome to the Disinfo Detox, everyone, where media literacy meets the headlines. We are the Media Literacy Wrecking Crew, but today we're flying a little lighter. I'm Dickey, your resident philosopher, and with Nolan out this week, I'm just joined by the sharp and savvy Sydney Sullivan.
Hey, detoxers. Yes, we are missing Nolan, but the detoxing must continue. If you'd like to support us in media literacy, consider becoming a paid subscriber on the Patreon. That's patreon.com/disinfodetox, also linked in the show notes. If you can't subscribe right now, it's not a worry. You can always like, follow, subscribe, and comment. It can help us learn a lot more about what you're interested in.
All right, let's start detoxing.
And I think we're going to just start right away with the media literacy moment. So, this media literacy moment is about kind of invisible hands behind the content that we consume. It's from TikTok videos to news headlines. Every piece of media is produced within systems, whether that's corporate, government, or otherwise, and it's produced with specific goals. So, I really want to break down today what that means and a little bit more about why that's so important to know. So let's just kind of take a step back and get a little bit more analytical. Today's media literacy tip is about production and institutions. So in media studies, we ask ourselves, why was this text created and or shared? So again, why was this text created or shared? So there's really two areas I want to give as examples for this, and hopefully this makes more sense as we go along. But the first is going to be about influencers and algorithms, and the second one is going to be about the public opinion online. So algorithms really, their goal is designed to rise something to the top of your feed, while influencers are really great at packaging those algorithms and getting them to be more relatable stories. So it's kind of this weird mixture of you're getting algorithms from a computer, but then you're also getting them packaged and personalized to you, which makes them feel more relatable and something that you can get behind. And so together they're kind of like this invisible production studio. They're curating, they're amplifying, sometimes they're distorting information to maximize engagement or profits or personal brand growth. So remember, every recommended for you or sponsored post is a deliberate decision made inside of a larger system that's really designed to keep you watching, clicking, or usually buying something. The second thing that I really want to talk about, and this one is a little bit more complex, is the public opinion. So it's really a valuable but imperfect counterweight when the opinion can surface and kind of get into more of a critique or fact checking or showcasing like the missteps that, let's say, an advertisement is happening. So I wrote about this in one of my Substacks for this week. Essentially, the Substack is called Who Told Me to Like This? Algorithmic Taste and the New Media Rebellion. But it talks about the new movie, The Materialist, and how essentially I kept seeing ads for this movie come up over and over and over again. And usually it actually was this narration of podcasters saying, "Oh, have you seen the movie The Materialist?" Blah, 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 blah. And it was kind of, I just kept noticing it around the same time, around the same kind of narrative. And I just kept seeing the same pattern repeating again and again on my feed. And then what I noticed was the public opinion about this movie came out and it was completely different. And so that's what I love about public opinion is the ability for people to actually get in, critique something, and be able to say, actually, I did not agree with this, or I think differently about this. Of course, we can then take a step back and say, well, isn't the public opinion just another way of maybe advertising this movie, get people to talk about this movie? Of course, you can kind of get in there and say that as well. But I do think it is a good counterweight to this algorithm culture or this influencer culture. So, a couple things I just really want people to ask themselves when they're thinking about production. You want to ask yourself, who produced this? Who gains if I accept or share it? And how does it fit or clash with my values or evidence that I have? So, this, I know it can feel like a lot. It can feel sometimes like I just can't do anything right, or oh, well, if other people are going to talk about it, maybe that's just not aligning with the other opinion I had. And I just really want to sit down and just tell you, ask those three questions again and just choosing with intention. So, those three questions of who produced this, who gains if I accept or share it, and how does it fit or clash with my values and evidence. And that is the media literacy moment today.
Yeah, thank you, Sydney. I mean, there's a lot there, and it's been interesting to, I've shared that materialist experience that you brought up in your podcast or in your Substack, because I haven't seen it yet, but they are like people I know have seen it, and I asked them about it, and it's yeah, their public the public opinion doesn't quite match the hype that I've been yeah, sort of being inundated with. And yeah, it kind of makes, I mean, the philosopher in me is thinks about the difference between the human soul and the algorithms. You know, it's like when you really ask a human and in the heart, like what does it hit? It's very different than what this algorithm is just putting out there. You know, it's sort of like to a um, ones and zeros or whatever an algorithm is made of. The movie doesn't really resonate, but or the movie does resonate, but to humans it doesn't really resonate. So I appreciate you bringing that, you know, back into my mind. And I guess I have like a question for you personally. Like what do you like, yeah, just how do you navigate, I mean, I guess you're asking the questions, but how do you navigate when you suspect that something is being amplified for profit or performance or, you know, for you to click, and but it also really aligns with your values?
Yeah. I think one of the things I try to do, especially with something like something simple or fun, like a movie, for example, I really try not to listen to anything before I see it myself because I do feel like you can be shaped by public opinion. And I do feel like it kind of embeds itself into you and you're watching the movie from a new lens now because the lens, let's say that you were online, and one of the articles I read was about how the movie was following a broke man's propaganda. And so now I'm thinking about that as I'm watching the movie, and it's hard for me to then watch it to the full extent and form my own full independent opinion when I've already read articles about it or I've already seen content from other people giving their opinion. So I think one of the things I try to do is form an independent opinion first by going to that original content and watching it or reading it first. I feel the same way about books. Like I read reviews, but I really try not to look at like I if I see something like a 3 out of 5 stars, but a friend has recommended a book to me, I don't then go to the reviews and say, why did people hate this book? Because I know that I will then be shaped to think, oh yeah, I see what that person was talking about. Instead, I'll read the book and then I'll kind of write down or jot down my opinions and then later go and say, do these things that I thought independently match with anybody else? And I think that's the way that I can still feel a little bit more secure about like having an independent opinion is just going to that source, the original text or original like creation of something.
Yeah, yeah, there's such value in kind of being a blank slate. And I mean, I think it's just it makes the whether the movie or book or whatever is good or bad, whether you enjoy it or not, it's you get to have your own experience, which is just kind of nice. And then I feel like yeah, doing that enough times, you kind of develop your own baseline for discerning, yeah, for like building these skills, like you know, kind of get acquainted to who you are as a consumer of media and you know what things trigger you or what works, what doesn't work. And yeah, that's I'm so curious about this broke man's propaganda.
You'll have to watch the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. Well, it's you know this media lesson has been really well, it's been sharp, of course, because it's from you, but it's it really, the broke man's propaganda and just your questions about which narratives rise to the top and why kind of sets up perfectly for the next segment, which is my sidebar.
Hey Detoxers, you've been listening to the Disinfo Detox. If you value smart takes and sharper media literacy, support us at patreon.com/disinfodetox. No cash? No sweat. Just like, comment, follow, and share. Even a one-word reaction boosts the signal. Thank you for supporting the Disinfo Detox, where media literacy meets breaking news.